Oh my God! Welcome
Just
back,
for me.
everybody.
That didn't freeze just for me, did it?
No.
The whole
That's
intro
just
just froze at like the gate, and it was
Oh
just
no,
sitting
didn't
No,
there.
it played all the way through.
Yeah, I played all the way through.
You didn't
That
get to
was
hear the intro?
your fancy interwebs.
Yeah. Really.
I know. I
Welcome
look
back,
so
everybody. We are
naked.
now all level 20. Hooray!
Everything looks so naked back here. I took 2 empty bookcases and put it behind me because it felt so weird otherwise not to have like something behind me. So, hey everybody, how we doing? We're
So
ready.
when do we get a
good,
tour
that
of your new
clown is
studio?
gone.
Hopefully second week of April is when it's designed. It's when it's supposed to be all done. So I'm gonna do a video tour of it and get that published so everyone can see what it looks like. So it's gonna be dope, y'all. Dope. Oh, I just realized something. I don't have the cool. I don't know why I didn't have that up there.
Yeah, what?
I'll get it.
Is it this one? Do we
Yes.
want to use that one? That one? That one? That one. Yeah, I like that one. That
I
one's
like.
always my favorite.
I still am in love with like the '80s kind of neon.
It's Ragnarok, bitches. Are you kidding me?
What?
All we need is the cool, groovy Flash Gordon tunes, and we're there.
There you go.
I don't even remember who that is. Hold on.
That was my full design.
Gosh, I gotta look that up. What's Flash Gordon? It's official.
Okay,
I'm
I
ancient.
remember now.
It's official. I'm ancient. I'm
You are
super,
so old.
I'm super ancient. I'm so old, baby. So old. Oh my God. Well, welcome back, everyone. We had our sessions are getting interesting, to say the least. We are finding ourselves coming to the culmination of a 2-year journey of what started off as a series of inquiries and possible historical references to the idea that the Calamity never finished and what that meant. Keothi's involvement, both seen as heretical kind of viewpoints, but there seems to be a nature of truth, at least in her supposition. But with her entombment into the globe of invulnerability that protects her not only from interactions of the outside world, but encased her in the ability for time to displace around her, as the effects on her has been, for the greater part of the time within this game, she has been shifting in and out of time constantly, as if she's looking for something. And it's quite possible what she's looking for is this timeline that all of you are currently journeying on. From the discovery of the very first book to Moradin's workshop, the butcher block, the original place where the Goliaths once protected these books. But a bargain seemed to be made at some point where the great chieftain brought these books to a mysterious tower that was shifting through time. We also discovered the empty book at the Gnome Works capital city, this capital of the gnomes, that now seems to have fallen into disrepair. Meanwhile, one of the greater victories in the valley, a valley that was renamed for the Grey Guardians, the Stygian book was recovered, and the gate was closed. And an unending pestilence that was threatening to wipe out an entire community had been dealt with. What could get harder after that? Delving ever deeper into the truth seekers, Mira's dream walk, and the eventual realization of her affinity for establishing life trees. Keen's redemption, finding one of the most powerful of the 9 books, and it linked her to something that had been looking for this book for a very long time, affording us an opportunity to finally get rid of this entity, this creature that was tagging along. Abraxas's journey with the time god, this entity that seems to either be coming into existence for the first time, but using both time and memory to try to construct the idea of what this entity intends or needs. But gifts have been received by all, either passed down through generational acceptance of responsibility, through feats of strength and conviction, through sheer luck and determination of not letting that particular Tempest sword out of your sight unless it was retrieved, which Tamir's ever insistence on finding it may have actually changed the very nature of how this team moves forward to deal with the one remaining threat, this one final book to be retrieved from the region of the rendered. This area outside of Anchor's Weight, this far-flung northeasternmost part of Wildmont, coldest of all the regions, most remote of all the regions. Virtually nothing is truly known about it. It's so far out on the very kind of edge of this place. A waypoint for those that fish the frigid waters of this northern area. The occasional visit from time to time for those that seek to explore the rendered region in hopes of finding what Allura has sent Griffin Riders out to, not only to discover the condition of Anchor's Weight, but now we know of something else called the Shadow Forge, a potential location near a ruined site. What does this Shadow Forge mean? What is its purpose? And does it offer any clues to the restitution of this final book? The final taking of these 9 books back to the great citadel, back to the great fractured remains of the Butcher Block that have been reunited through the reconstitution of the orb. This orb that seems to guide this great landmass, this great citadel, in and out of different planes of existence. Perhaps this is how they kept the book safe originally. Or perhaps we are staring at something a bit more unique, because in our last session, one of the things that we began to learn about the truth of these books is that they are memory. They are the origins of the memory of time during the founding, when the great struggle between the betrayer gods and the 9 prime deities brought this world not only into existence, but created the opportunity for the 9 primes to prove that their children were too important to them to let perish to the world of chaos, trapping the 9 betrayer gods down below in their 9 prisons of hell, the prime deities, sealing the celestial gate, blocking Exandria from influence both of the chaos as well as the prime, allowing the children to flourish on their own. And these books are the memory of those epitomes, the memory of what took place. Does bringing all 9 of these books back together bring the memory back? Does the 9 books represent the conclusion of memory? Is this the timeline that Keothi is looking for? And what of the nature of the time god? What is Kronos' purpose? What is he doing? For that matter, what are they doing? Kronos may appear to be interested in the idea that Abraxas may be his first champion. But why the subterfuge? Why the cryptic messaging? Some would say that's the very nature of deity communication. They're not designed to tell us truth or lie. They're designed to give us nudges and pushes and little droplets of information to see if we're worthy of what they have set us upon. But this path brings us back to the deck of the ship, the airship that is currently making its way towards Anchor's Weight. Passing over the frozen tundra before, the team is enjoying a bit of a rest after dealing with the fallen Azimir, this great celestial being that attempted to retrieve this ninth book. The team realizing that what they have is either the incomplete memory of creation or the incomplete memory of destruction. It could mean both. But the creature that sits waiting somewhere to find and gain possession of this ninth book. And before Keen's connection with it faded, before her shadow was pulled from her, and the Azimir Celeste defeated, that final ping, that final realization that somewhere out in this region is the final book. Whether it's in Anchor's Weight, whether it's in the Shadow Forge or the nearby ruins, it's believed it's out there somewhere. It is the morning of the following day. Your level 19 takes effect immediately after dispatching the creature during our last session. You're maybe 2 days away from Anchor's Weight. You're beginning to cross the great frozen regions of the Dunrock and the Floquet, where the tundra is giving way to the beginning roots of the Floquet Range. And somewhere on the other side of this range, the valleys, the flows, the different villages and locations. It's early morning. It's cold, but it feels like winter is finally succumbing to the beginnings of spring. But just barely. It's a light snowfall with a kind of gray haze that Menti is now preparing to fly above. What would you guys like to do today?
We're still on the deck of the ship, right?
Mm-hmm. You've all
Next
come
day,
up.
right? So we've had a long rest.
Yeah, you've had your long rest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, be sure to click that off. And you've come up onto the main deck. It's that early morning gray. Menti is guiding the ship up and out of the gray haze of the light snow flurries, trying to get just above it to get a little break from the weather. You're mute, Gork.
Kind of come up and go over to where Minty is. How far are we from Anchor's Weight?
2 days, maybe? We'll stay away from this weather as best as I can. You never know what's hiding in it. Better to stay away from it. You get the feeling her pause has more to do with what recently happened.
Did we also find that there was like some connection to Draxelhaven?
Yes. There
Draxelhaven was
is.
the name of a version of. Wait, no, I'm not sure.
Draxelhaven was the wizard spirit that we found in the volcano that sort of hitched a ride with me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And gave you the ring.
And gave me the ring, which I gave up to get the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
A voice somewhere out there. A link. The realization that Draxelhaven, it's hard to know. But this wizard has unfinished business. this wizard has something still left to do. And the link was more towards it was almost that feeling that you felt when the Azamar was defeated and sent away. And that shadow of gloom kind of like peeled away from your mind. That you were able to kind of reestablish that sense of Draxelhaven's consciousness. And there was a moment that this wizard in the tower, the one that Abraxas has been seeing for a while, was finally revealed. And while Kronos' self has revealed itself as the Goliath from time to time, it was that connection with the creature with the golden tendrils extending from their head, and the realization that maybe something else is at play here. All of these choices, all these fates, have led you all to this point. Frigette with the mantle of power and the staff, Mira with her staff, and being atoned with the leadership of her people. Abraxas, the discovery of a potential new god. Gork, the god killer. A hereditary title of Templars designed from a time of founding. Designed from a time when they might have been the first ones to have sealed the very first betrayer prison. The great entry into the Nine Hells, Avernus. And Zarel, the one that revealed itself to Gork, either in memory or in time. Hard to know these days. But as the ship drifts into the cold air, coming out of the gray clouds, it almost Peter Pans, like the clouds kind of, break away from the prow of the ship. Menti looks over at Gork and at the rest of you. Well, that's better. And her metal automaton form kind of loping off to go do whatever she does throughout the day.
Mira's going to turn to the group and say, you mentioned that something came out of the sky. Some dark being. Do you know which way it went?
No. The creatures, they went away with the other one we sent it. Opened another rift. I do not know if the first one I saw came or went, but it is gone now.
Gone over the horizon, or
Or back
vanished?
to wherever it came from. They seem to all have been sent back.
I see.
Vanished. At least so it seems.
Well, hopefully that's the case. Because I don't think having Asmodeus in the material plane is exactly a good thing to have right now.
I don't think it would be. Perhaps just another servant. So what are we going to be doing with these then? These books?
Well, just as long as we don't open that box.
Frigette's fingers are like rattling on the box lid.
I don't know.
I think just as long as it's sealed and protected, I think we'll be fine. But I think we should just be vigilant, as there are other players that we might meet. we don't know who they are, so that's exciting.
I mean, I think we know exactly who they are. Demons and their kin.
We were left with the choice last time, or yesterday, to go to. We either, and like I have the Tempest Blade. Like I don't exactly know how it will work, but I have it, and we have the choice of either
Blade.
going straight to
You
Minty.
mean you don't know how to stab something? You just kind of.
I noticed that a lot of the things we expect to happen have been changed by the fact that we are not existing on one plane or one time, but many. So every possibility is an option. On an infinite timeline, every possibility is equally true. So we were left with two choices. One, go back to Keothi and try to stab her and get the stone and the book away from her, whatever that means. Or go get the last book and then bring it all back and maybe get her when she's out. Like what we assume is going to happen, right? We can't we toyed with the idea of learning what the books contain, and we realized that's not a good idea. But now we are still presented with two choices.
Well, I feel we keep arguing over this. I think it all boils down to, do we trust her?
No.
No. She'll cross her arms. Not exactly. I think I trust us. I think given what we have known so far, we can make the decision. I think that we should get the final book over at Anchor's Weight and then kind of prepare for what's next with Keothi, whether her intentions were good or bad.
Yeah, I agree. Right, we're near Anchor's Weight now. We can get the book. We will have
2 days away.
Yeah, we would have 8 out of 9. And then whatever happens with Keothi, we don't have to decide like instantly what we do there. If she comes and she's hostile, then we'll take care of that. And if she's friendly, then we have some discussing to do about what trust or not.
We have already defeated a version of her once.
Yes. And we have the advantage with the books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure that's an advantage.
Well, maybe it's leverage at least.
Yes.
Leverage for what? So they won't immediately try and kill us. She could try.
They can certainly try.
So where to?
Now. Wait. 2 days.
2 days to Anchor's Weight, and then we've got the Shadow Forge and maybe some ruins nearby. I have to look at the map again.
The Shadow Forge. Was that relayed to us? Stepping out of character here. Was that relayed to us, the Shadow Forge?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
Keen had gotten that information from
Alora.
From Alora, yep.
Okay,
When I
so we know
checked
that
in
she
once.
sent Griffin
Yes.
Riders. Okay.
She'd sent Griffin Riders to check on the disposition of Anchor's Weight, which is located in the eastern bay of the shoreline. But she's also dispatching riders to the Dwarven Ruins
Forge.
where the Shadow Forge may be located at.
Is there any reason why we'd want to go to the Shadow?
Yeah.
We're not sure if the book is there or if it's at Anchor's Weight. It's like all we know, it's in this region.
Yeah.
I see.
I say we go to.
I lost the connection, so I'm not able to point it out specifically anymore.
Or I say we go to Inca's Weight. I think it would be good not to be eating dried rations. At least for a little while.
Yeah, I suppose we could restock on some supplies.
Yeah.
Perhaps they'll know something.
Yeah, I was going to say also.
They'll
they
tell
might-
us some strange story of how some strange creature is roaming around somewhere or something or the other, and we'll just go look and find the book and be on our way.
Gork's expression of a pattern is fascinating.
Anchor's weight.
Minty, can we get there any faster?
Physics still applies. I can only move as fast as the wind and the magic of the engine takes us.
That's unfortunate. I'll just kind of go over to my torn apart little mechanical dude and start another fire.
Are you gonna name him Coleman?
No. Dumb name.
And Mara is just going to say, well, just for a little assurance. And she'll walk away a little bit from the group and head towards the railing on the side of the ship. And she's going to pull up her cloak of the Stargazer and take a deep breath and use the enchantment that's with the cloak. That says, once per long rest, when you wear this cloak with its hood up, wisdom, you may ask for guidance from the stars above to guide you on what your next steps may be in your adventure, or locate an object, place, or person.
Hey, man, I was about to do that.
So she's just gonna put the cloak up and kind of communicate with the spirits beyond to guide her on the next steps.
Your sense of self diminishes. Your brain becomes fuzzy. You focus on the stars through the graying, kind of like blue, distant horizon. The moon, while still out, Rudius, kind of like is gradually fading with the growing light of the day's horizon. But things up here are never truly as bright or as well lit as they are closer to the civilization of the world. And you reach out with your mind. You feel the power of the cloak kind of lighten your step as your transcendental self walks out of your physical form and begins to float up and away towards the celestial heavens. And these great paths of stars, these great constellations beginning to kind of like burst out in front of you. But there's a void. The constellation that you would know to be Ioun isn't there. And it draws your attention. And as you float ever higher towards that void, that empty space in the celestial stars, you physically feel yourself arc over in your phantom form, almost as if you flatten up against the void to look down at the region, the mountainscape and the ashen volcanoes of the rendered region. There is a place that comes to mind for you, a place called the Azure Valley. The absence of Ioun's constellation feels like a nudge. Feels like something's being pointed out to you that is either a reference to Ioun, but your body physically comes back in, your transcendental self comes back into your physical form. You lower the hood. For some reason, the Azure Valley, less than a day from here, the central part of the rendered region, something about Ayun's absence. These two things feel important to you.
And she'll turn back to the group. And she'll say, I believe there is a sure path towards the Azure Valley. Something draws me near to this place. I believe the book may be there. Ayun's presence is missing. And it's only a day's journey away. It is a shorter path. We may find answers there.
It is up to y'all.
Not all at once.
I don't have any better ideas.
We might as well. I would like to go see the ruined fortress before we leave for good.
Are we in agreement?
Yes.
We have a direction.
Mm-hmm.
We reserve the right to change direction if we need.
It looks too scary.
Vinti,
Yeah.
take us to the Azure Valley on the island.
All right.
Yeah, first.
You feel the airship begin to shift and turn away from the coastal direction and more towards the inland direction. The storm is beginning to break up below, which is allowing Menti to now lower the ship. And by afternoon, all of you spot 3 distant spots that are growing closer. Menti points it out first. They're not trying to hide the fact that they're coming directly towards the ship.
Oh,
I would like to go back to my fire, and I would actually like to pray.
That's
Kind of
unusual for
medit-
Gork.
I know, right? I'm just gonna take it. I'll pick up my little fire bucket, and I will take it to like a secluded part of the weather deck, and I'll just kind of sit down and I'll begin to kind of like meditate / begin a chant for Gmush to hear my call.
The dots are getting closer. Menti, are we avoiding those bots, or are we? They seem to be on a direct intercept course with us.
They might be the Griffin Riders that Allura sent.
yeah,
Slow
maybe I was
down.
gonna look over the railing.
Yeah, can I try to get a good look at them?
Give me a perception check as you kind of come up to the prow of the ship. You, Mira, Abraxas, and Vergetta are just kind of on the railing.
My
Are you
passive perception is 24.
Perception. I just so I roll a 16 plus 14. I got a 30.
Welcome to level
Oh
19,
my
everybody. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little.
The way that they're moving and reacting to the thermals tells you that they are definitely griffins.
Okay.
And they seem to have riders on their back, and they're getting closer. You feel Menti, you feel the engine kind of purr a little softer as the airship begins to kind of slow down. Before long, the 3 griffins come into view. 2 of them are riderless. The one in the lead has a rider. The griffin immediately lands on the front of the vessel, and the unconscious form of a rider slips off the back of the griffin and onto the deck.
Uh-oh.
Mira's gonna rush over and check on him.
Give me a medicine check as you begin to examine them.
Medicine. 24.
24. It is someone that seems to be wearing paladin armor. They are festooned in the religious paraphernalia of Ayun. They are wearing a sash of the Cobalt Soul. Her hair is buzzed to almost bald. She has a great tattoo that kind of like is on the right side of her face. She has a very mortal wound from the base of her spine all the way up to the back of her neck. These 3 great wide kind of like wounds that are leaking both a toxic fume and her own blood onto the deck of the ship. She is near death's door.
Okay. I'm going to cast Healing Word on her.
The wounds begin to stop bleeding. Her eyes flutter. But she quickly slips back into unconsciousness. But she's at least stable for now.
Okay.
Can I make an Arcana check now that I am proficient in it to see if it is magical, like these wounds are magical, or if it's something else?
Arcana or nature, your choice.
Well, I'm really good at one of those things, so I will do the thing that I am good at. Natural 20 for a 35.
Yeah!
Wow.
These feel and look like wyvern wounds,
Oh.
but there's something else here, like some kind of necrotic poison or toxin. It doesn't feel magical. It feels natural.
Like a venom
Right.
or something.
I'll cast Lesser Restoration to remove poison.
At that point, her gray pallor shifts more back towards a kind of like pinkish brown pallor, like her normal skin tone is beginning to come back through. And she's breathing a bit more steady, and her eyes begin to kind of like dilate and open.
You're safe. What happened?
There
And she'll
was
be
so
holding her
many.
hand.
There were so many.
Where? Where were they? Where were you attacked?
At the city.
Anchor's Weight?
It burns. The city burns. There were so many. Her eyes begin to tear, and there's like a smudge of blood coming from the corner of her eyes as she's just... Right. My friends. They were taken so quickly. There was something down there. There was something down there. It was... I don't know. And she just kind of drifts into a bit of kind of like unconsciousness again. The griffin kind of shuffling its feet and shaking its head and wings. Lifts off, circles the ship with the other 2.
And Mira will look up to the group. Anchor's Weight.
Oh my gosh.
And Mira will just kind of be like speechless and just hastily say, Minty, we need to bring this person to the infirmary.
Watches 4 automatons come clicking over, and they kind of like slide underneath arms and legs and come together and it's kind of like clicking, kind of like tiptoe away over, and they're kind of going down the stair gantry down into one of the common rooms to put her in a possible bed or whatever might be down there.
Yeah. And then there was one other person that was still alive, right?
Nope.
Just that one person?
Just
2 griffins that were circling. The 3rd griffin landed, dumped this rider off of its back, and then the 3 griffins are just kind of oscillating around the main ship, almost as if they don't know what to do.
Can I try? Can any of that? Mira, can you communicate with animals?
Yes. I can't.
Maybe we can take these griffins and get there faster.
Okay. Oh wait, actually, I don't have. Wait, no. Can I have that as like a natural thing? Hold on a second.
Does my druid
Can you
actually
mentally
not speak to animals?
Prep it or not? Well, that's the question.
She's not that kind of druid.
I'm not that kind of druid, man.
Um.
I have Tongue of the Sun and Moon, so I understand all spoken languages. So if it's, does that?
Do griffins speak a
Does-
language?
Oh, I
Speak
could.
with beasts.
I could speak telepathically to them, but they're gonna freak out.
They've
Yeah.
been around, magicians, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They just fought
Magicians.
wyverns.
Okay. I'll go get some like food rations for
There
them
you go.
and invite them to the deck.
For Jet, give me persuasion with advantage as you're dangling kind of like a dried piece of meat over the edge of the railing.
Nice. 10.
10. They don't seem to be interested in that.
Well, I could speak with them. Are they within 100 feet at least?
Yeah, they're circling fairly close by.
Okay.
They're not notoriously known as intelligent creatures. They're wise. They're not particularly intelligent.
She's gonna look at one of the griffins that are like flying in front of her, and she's going to say, "Land."
Give me persuasion with advantage because you are using speak with animals.
Oh, I got a negative. Okay, but that's advantage, right? Okay. That's...
You do have a D6.
Oh, do I use? Okay. Whoa. Oh. 15?
One of the griffins kind of stops short and kind of drifts a little bit closer towards the ship, and it's just almost hummingbird style, kind of like beating its wings, looking at you and looking at for Jet,
Yeah.
and it pulls its beak around and away from your hand, coming towards it.
These are military kind of looking things, right? Like these are organized.
These look like mounts. Yeah, these
Yeah.
look like
right?
mounts.
why
Like
I
they
was-
have saddles and they have the
Mhm.
and
And this one was not the one that kind of beckons over. Is not one of the ones that. It wasn't the one that deposited the injured paladin.
Yeah.
And you could see gore all over its saddle, just meat and tissue and organ, just whatever happened to its rider. It was instant
Oh.
and it was bloody. You can even see. Mara and Forget, what's your passive perception for the two of you?
21.
Mara, you could see something sticking out of its like hind, like its haunch. It looks like a barb or some kind of like bony protrusion sticking out.
And she'll telepathically tell it, "Come."
Wah!
And she'll be very like gentle. Come close a little bit.
Give me animal handling.
She holds the meeting.
25. I got a natural 20. Yeah.
It snaps its beak, but
Pet the bird.
kind of like nudges your hand, and then you just kind of guide it over onto the deck, and it limps. It curls in its wings, and it kind of limps away from the edge of the railing, kind of clacking its jaw and looking around, and its beak kind of goes over to where the kind of blood on the deck is from where the paladin was, and it kind of stares at that for a moment in confusion, and then kind of sniffs at Frigette and takes the piece of meat out of her hand, swallows it.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna like gently pat its back and look at the bramble or that was sticking out of its haunch.
It looks to be the remains of a stinger.
Frigette,
Yeah.
come look at this. Have you seen anything like this?
Give me a nature check or give me nature. See if it
Guidance.
looks familiar to you.
13.
Yeah, it's not all that complicated. It looks like a wyvern stinger. Wyverns, certain types of wyverns are known to have bony stingers in their tail, sometimes singular, sometimes multiple. This feels like when the rider was grabbed, the mount was stung at the same time.
Oh, poor baby.
It's about 2 feet long and kind of sticking out, and you could see kind of blood coming down the feathers, and it's limping from the damage.
Okay. Ooh.
Am I familiar enough with it to try and decide if it'd be safe to remove or?
It's going to be painful to remove, but it's probably pumped all the poison already, so hard to know.
Okay. Do you think it's safe to pull out?
It's as safe as it's gonna be.
Hmm.
I mean, we'll have to comfort the guy for sure. It's gonna hurt.
Do you have any more rations?
For sure. I don't think
Okay. All right.
So while our vets are doing their kind of like impromptu work, Gork, you wrap up your chant and your offering to Gramash. There's a sense of anticipation at the end of your chant. Something feels, there's a sense of dread, a sense of something in the far horizon, unlike anything this world has ever seen. You just feel your battle sense hone, your blood begin to boil with Grumash's kind of feeling of bloodlust that kind of courses into your veins.
When I look off in that direction, is that in the direction we were heading?
Where you were heading. Now you've gone a slightly different angle towards the Azure Valley. Something at Anchor's Weight feels dangerous, but exciting at the same time.
I'll just stand up and I'll walk over to the others. There is something waiting for us in the city. Gramash's rage and bloodlust is palpable there. They kind of something far more dangerous than simple wyverns.
Are you over by the vet center, or is it like between? Because it would be really helpful if Gore could help pull out the bramble.
He said he came over to tell us.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I assume Frigette and Abraxas are there too.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are all kind of cloistered on the main deck.
I will. I'll just kind of go over there, lay my hand on the side of the griffin, and just yank it out. And
Give me a strength check as you do that.
And I'll do lay on hands immediately after.
Okay.
Okay, calm down.
Oh, just
For Jet and Mary, give me animal handling. Gork strength check.
Okay.
As you yank out the barb.
19.
22.
Whoa.
Timing is everything. For Jet, what'd you get?
12.
It smacks you across the face with its beak, just as Gork kind of like pulls it out. But Mira grabs onto the reins and kind of like pulls it back away from you to kind of stabilize it and get it under control. The blood and the kind of like venom kind of like pulse free for a moment, but then you watch as Gork quickly submerges his hands into the wound of the beast, and the wound kind of begins to stitch closed.
And I'll also cast Lesser Restoration on it as well.
Okay. Which will get rid of the toxicity in its system at this point. You can already tell the shine of its eye is becoming a little bit more clear, and it feels like its breathing has settled. It doesn't feel as frantic anymore.
And Mira will turn to
You
Gork.
feel the airship kind of buffet in the wind, and as Menti's taking it down over the edge of the Floquet and closer towards the volcanic spine. It will bring you down into the fringe of the valley. You're maybe 7 hours away from Azure Valley.
Your god warned you about Anchor's Weight?
There's something there that has his ire. Something there that does not please him. And there are a few things that could be.
Whatever's down there.
Demons. Devils. Much calls for their skull and their blood. And I will gladly bring them to him.
Maybe we should go to the city because people are in trouble there.
By the time we get there, there will probably not be much of a city left.
Well, at least we deal with the danger for them.
We need to, if there are this many attackers, and if they're, I just kind of land because I've been flying with the other griffins, trying to like kind of corral them, I guess. I'd be like, these griffins have saddles. I can turn us into things. We can turn into things. We can get. I feel like their time is of the essence.
Yeah.
So if
It
there's
would not be
active
there
battle,
if there was nothing there but people to kill.
we need to get there.
How
Rent as
fast
much
would the
possible.
griffins get there compared to the airship?
I mean, they can be pushed to their limits, but there's also magical means of travel that will be faster than the airship as well. There's lots of different things you guys could try to do to get to Anchor's Weight, like quickly.
Yes. So as far as I know, this ship still has that dimension
travel?
door capability.
Mhm.
And is there a way for us to get close enough, activate the dimension door, and just have the ship be there so we can like appear and then?
Oh.
I mean, the dimension door effect of the ship is designed to get you out of trouble in a hurry. It has a limitation. Similar
Can
to
it
the
get us
spell.
into trouble in a hurry?
Well, I mean, it's designed to move 1,500 feet in a brief moment. Like just you flip the trigger and it warps into itself and shoots through the dimension gateway and out the other side in any direction up to 1,500 feet. So it's really designed to get you out of immediate danger. Is
Right.
the way it was designed originally.
Abraxas,
Can
can you get those other griffins down here?
You know, I'll do my best to convince them. I'll be like, I'm just gonna fly. Oh, I have message too. I can speak if they can understand a language.
They cannot.
They are dumb.
You get the feeling that as trained mounts, they
Mm.
understand very simple hand command and possibly reward gestures for the most part.
Can I just like whistle real loud at him and kind of like make a come here motion? Will that do anything?
Sure, give me animal handling as you do
That'd
that.
be cool.
I got +0, so let's do this, baby. That's an 18.
Whoa.
That's not bad.
They stare in your direction, but they don't seem to respond. But they stare at you.
Can I do it again, but make a slightly different hand gesture? Like this time, maybe pointing down on the deck. Like a
You
very
don't-
obvious, like
You get the feeling that these creatures might be reward based.
I will take the food out of Frigid's hand, and I will try and use that.
With the whistle?
Yes.
Okay. Do it with advantage this time.
$19.
They
I'll add
both-
my-
They both start flying towards you,
Okay.
and then they land. The one that had dropped off the paladin is the saddle is bloody, but not nearly as bad as the other one that lands beside it. In fact, you watch as part of a leg slides off the saddle and just kind of plops onto the ground. Kind of like this perfectly serrated wound that had separated. It seemed to its riding bridle and harness had wrapped around the main bone of the leg, preventing it from falling. But when it landed, it jolted it just enough to tumble off. And the two griffins kind of trot over to you and kind of clack their beaks, trying to take the
I'll
meat from you.
kind of like tear it in half and give them each. I would like to
Give
gather.
me sleight of hand. These beaks are dangerous.
That's fine. That's fine. That is a 7.
You like pull back your hand with two missing fingers.
No.
There's a slight cut on your hand as they kind of like just
I'll
strike at the meat.
I'll kind of gather their reins so they can't just take off again.
Okay. Give me
These
animal handling again as you grab both reins. You've earned some trust with them. So the DC is a lot lower.
animal handling +0. Let's go. I am going to use my D6 on that. My inspiration that I have, and that is a 14.
14, it's good enough. They seem to allow you to lead them.
I'm just gonna hold
And
them.
that's when you notice they tuck their wings in a certain way now that you have the harnesses.
Do the other two? Can I look them over? Fajay, look them over for more stingers. Or
And they do have injuries. You can see them. You don't see any barbs, but they seem to have battle injuries from whatever happened.
I'm going to cast Aura of Vitality. So for 1 minute, essentially every turn, I can use a bonus action to heal for 2d6. And so I say, I don't know how much you want to say I could do that for. Because like if it turns 3 seconds, I could do it 30 times, so 32d6.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're just sitting there concentrating. Your aura of vitality kind of pulses out, and all three griffins are gradually being healed by the magic, and they definitely are more calmed down. They're more responsive. They're not nearly as exhausted as they were when they first arrived. They're a little bit more docile, and they're recovered.
That's a total of 205 hit points.
Yeah, they're healed. So are we. So are all of we, right?
Oh yeah.
So are all of we, including
That's
the rat
200
that fell down the
bonus points.
stairs. and- yeah.
I'd like to search the saddlebags.
A ride.
Okay, give me
I wanna-
investigation as you begin to search through the saddlebags of one of the griffins.
Yeah, because I feel like they would have had like a communication device for Laura. 17.
17. In one saddlebag are the remains of personal possessions, camping gear, kind of lashed down rope, kind of like the typical equipment you'd expect for those that are traveling. In the other saddlebag, you find a folded up map of the area. It looks to have been commissioned by some unknown artist. Maybe it's what Alora gave them to use as a navigational map to make their way towards the city. But as you unfold the map, it matches almost exactly to the one that you guys have. And there is a very, very kind of like bright red circle around the Dwarven ruins off towards the volcanic highlands. And there's just like lots of notes written on it, like traveling notes, stopping points that they had stopped off at as they were making their way up there. You find the combined wealth of the riders, 50 gold, handful of plat, some silver.
I'll leave that. I'm not going to steal from them. She's going to show the map to the group.
Gork's wise words of the day: you cannot steal from someone who is dead. So
That person's alive.
You can't murder the dead. You can merely heal them
Would
to
that
death.
chick also be healed? The one they dropped off? Oh wait, no, they took her down below.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Well, I could say you could wander down below and let your aura kind of settle on her as well, and she can get some of those hit points.
It's a 30-foot radius.
So we know where we're going. We know according to like the maps that we had.
Sure.
We'll
And now
compare
we
the
have a
two.
ride.
The thing is,
in the boat.
right. So we need to make ready. We need to go, and we also need to. So my idea is that we go as like the vanguard, and then we have Menti come up behind us to find ways, if there's people to rescue, to use that magical teleportation to land, and then get everybody on there, and then boof away. But if there are survivors, if there's people to be saved, we have to save them. But we need to go. The fastest way to save people is to stop whatever's causing this. So I think it's time we have to.
Storyteller, am I too heavy for a griffin to carry?
You'd have to be its only rider.
Right. So there's 3, right?
Yep.
There's 3.
So you, me, and Forget, and then Keen and Mira would balance out.
Oh yeah, no bricks.
And I have wings. I don't know how much faster I am than griffins.
Probably not much.
Griffins can fly 80 feet,
They're a little faster than me.
per 3 seconds.
Right.
But they are natural beasts that succumb to the idea of, a limitation to their strength.
Mhm.
So their energy is not unending. Although with their recent healing, they clearly, I'll say this much. You're a little surprised they found you. So either that rider before she went unconscious was guiding them towards this possibility of finding you. Basically, 2 small stones met in the middle of a very large lake by accident.
Right.
Or I rolled a natural 20. One of those 2.
Okay, well,
We should probably let Allura know.
yeah. So I'll take out the stone and check in with Allura and.
You activate the stone, vibrates. The arcane energy kind of dissipates quickly. No response.
Mm-mm. No response.
That has literally never happened before.
But it's working and she's just not answering. Is that what I feel?
Do we hear like war noises through the radio?
Yeah. Hopefully. Oh, God. Okay.
it wouldn't be harmonic without another stone receiving it.
Mhm.
So her stone is active. She's just not responding.
Okay. We're on our own.
She's not answering.
No, she's not answering. Maybe. Oh,
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of natural 20s.
so we want to get to Anchor's Weight as soon as possible, but hopefully with as much. I mean, hopefully with the ship. Is there a way we can boost power to the engines or something? So
Menti
it's not
kind
just
of
wind power.
Menti kind of comes over, listening into this conversation. Well, I mean, we've never tried to push the engines before. We could try. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be safe, but there's parts of this ship that we still haven't like fully understood.
Maybe it's time to push it. People need us.
Go see what I could do. She her automaton form starts heading over to the captain's cabin to go look at all the machinations and mechanical items and where all the different kind of like arcane cartridges are put into the engine room to maintain its constant rate of travel. The other automatons are kind of like busy scouring the deck and doing kind of strange, kind of like searching. They're looking for something. Once again, Menti's ability to tie in all the automatons seems to have caused them to start looking about the ship, trying to see if maybe there's something they missed.
If we took the Griffin straight to Anchor's Weight and then Menti just booked it with the ship, how much time difference was that going to be?
I mean, maybe a half a day.
Yeah, so the
Because you
Griffins
start
aren't
to
that much
stop-
faster than the ship.
Yeah, well, they're faster, but they require more rest.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we can't get the ship to go faster, and because we want to take the ship to Anchor's Weight so we have that resource to help people, we could have Menti just keep beelining for Anchor's Weight, and we could take the Griffins to do the Azure Valley that Mayra saw with her hood on the way by, if we can't get things to accelerate.
So you want us to use the Griffins to get to the Azure Valley first, and then come back for Anchor's Weight when the
Yeah.
ship catches up.
I think the Azure Valley can wait because it didn't seem like it was
Yeah.
urgent. It was just
Time sensitive.
But Anchor's Weight is definitely time sensitive.
Right, but if it's just sit on ship and wait for ship to keep going, we'll be getting things done. Gathering information.
Yes.
I don't know. They're not really in the same direction.
They're in the same direction for about a half a day.
For about a half a day.
At some point, if you send Menti back onto the course for Anchor's Weight, she'll have to pivot more easterly north, and then it'll bring her more towards the coast again.
Well, we should at least have her change course to Anchor's Weight.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, we could do that.
Oh, we already had done that.
I thought we
Yeah,
did.
we already
Yeah.
did.
Okay. No. So definitely, if we didn't,
You feel the ship
we let her
start
know.
to you feel the ship start to shift as she acknowledges the change of course back towards Anchor's Weight.
Let's at least see how fast she can get us there after she looks at what the ship is capable of before we leave it, because otherwise it's a half a day to Azure Valley, and then we'd have to still get from there to Anchor's Weight, catch up with the ship somehow.
This Kraken dice is unnatural.
Uh-oh.
When I was cleaning my studio, I found it underneath a bookcase. It'd been missing for probably a year. And it's rolled 3 natural 20s and an 18.
Wow.
Good, or is that
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that good for the DM or is that good for us?
Or bad for
I honestly couldn't tell you. Mostly because I don't want to.
So are we taking the griffins to Anchor's Weight, or
I feel that we need to check what's out in Azure Valley. I believe Forjet's plan is pretty sound. We could still help the people over in Anchor's Weight while Menti makes her way over.
Yeah, Anchor's Weight is still priority 1. We're not going to go spend a week in the Azure Valley.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's get on the Griffins, fly over to Azure Valley, see what's there. Would that
Braxis looks
separate us from
boring.
the ship
It'll separate you from the ship, most certainly. Yeah.
so that we couldn't get back to it in time to get to Anchor's Weight at the same time?
I mean, there would be.
We don't know what we're gonna find where we are or where we go. You know what I mean? Like that's
Either
the.
way, yeah.
But that's the thing, is that we know there are lives in danger in one place, and we know that the book is there. The Azure Valley might have something. I mean, look, I want to pull at every thread too. But if in world lives are in danger, Abraxas is going to be already like wondering why we haven't already left.
Yeah, then we should take Griffins to go to Anchor's Weight then. Because that's saving half a day
Half
to go
a day.
save some more lives.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Right. And then if Menti manages to make the ship go faster, she'll catch up with us, and then we can.
I'll just kind of drop 2 of the reins and then jump on one myself. And let us go.
Let's go.
We are things to kill.
So whoever is looking to ride the griffins and handle their harnesses, I definitely need animal handling, please.
Do I need to do that again?
For the one that you've gained its trust on, yes, but the DC is a lot lower.
Okay.
If Mira and Forjet manage the other 2, the DC won't be as bad.
You're
They've
probably
already
better at
interacted
animal
with them.
handling than I am, Forjet. So.
Yeah, like don't make me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
12.
I'm a city girl.
12 is enough for you to gain its confidence, and you slide up into the sticky, congealed saddle.
Oh, I'll prestidigitation.
Quickly, Keen cleans up the saddles.
I used my inspiration on it, so 17.
Okay, you're good.
I got a 7.
Oh dear.
There's a bit of a struggle for you, Mira. But I put all the DCs at a 7 because, number one, you helped the paladin. You convinced them that you were safe, and I didn't think the DC needed to be that bad. These are professionally trained combat mounts that seem to be inspired by what you did for one of the riders, and that's what's keeping them calm, as well as the healing that you did for them as well. And as you guys do this, you feel the vessel buffet again, like an air pocket. And that's when you realize that as you come over the last of the Floquet, you're now crossing over the easterly volcanic spine of the rendered region. And you could see 2 major volcanoes active down below. You can hear and smell the ash and the smoke. But as you get near the edge of the forested valley, you could see thin contrails of smoke coming from the ground as you pass over a farming village completely engulfed in flame. And then you pass over another small farming village completely engulfed in flame.
Is there anyone? Do we see anyone running around down there?
Give me a perception check as you look downwards.
9.
All of us?
It's up to you.
16.
17.
Okay.
25.
Nice.
That's a 30.
Woo!
You can see the charcoaled remains of corpses. You can see herds of sheep and cow burnt to a cinder. Nothing is moving. It's ash, fire, and corpses everywhere you look over the first couple of farming villages.
Could I make some kind of check to see how long ago this had happened?
Yeah, I was
Give me
just gonna ask
survival.
the same thing.
Yeah, give me survival.
How are the griffins reacting flying back towards all of this?
Mm,
They're a little skittish,
10.
especially at the sound of the volcano.
Sure.
10, hard to tell.
I got 15.
15, maybe within the last 3 to 5 days. It's really hard to tell. And you're not really sure where the fire came from.
Would the Griffin riders have taken 3 to 5 days to get to us where we were?
Mm-mm.
No.
No. So something had started probably about the time they were sent to check in on Anchor's Weight.
Hmm.
yeah.
And now you can see the great kind of like lava rivers kind of running down the edges of these mountain ranges and dipping down into the valley floor. And every now and then this explosion of lava and an arcing like basalt stone arcing and landing down in amongst the valley.
Mayor's gonna scan around and ahead to see if there's any of the wyverns that are close by.
Give me perception. You should begin to kind of check the horizon looking.
$27.
You don't see anything, but it's strange. As you look down at the forest that borders the volcanic mountainscape that you can see, there's this great kind of expanse of a forest along the edge of it. It's almost like it moved. Like, it's hard to tell. But the forest looks strange. Like something shifted, blurred your vision. It's hard to know.
Mayor's just gonna shake her head and say, "There's something going on with that forest over there. I think I saw movement."
Can we see tracks or anything leading to it? Or
You guys are a good 200-300 feet up in the air at this point. And kind of, she's brought you down into the valley entrance. And all around you, columns of smoke kind of lacing the skies from all the different nearby either farms or herdsteads, all kind of engulfed in fire. Some are ruined to the ground. Some look recently burnt. Almost as if this volcanic activity has been casting out these great kind of like cinder bombs out into the region. Braxis, your passive is pretty good, right? Your passive perception. All of you now begin to focus on what Mayor points out. And as you look, there definitely is something strange. And then you can't help but notice that some of the wooded areas along the edge of the forest, the trees look dead or burnt. And as the ship begins to steer in a way that'll bring it directly nearest the edge, that's when you realize that the entire canopy of the forest is alive.
Yeah.
And you're watching as hundreds of winged creatures begin to lift up off
Guys,
the canopy of the trees.
how far are we from the canopy, would you say?
Maybe about 1,000 feet.
And you say this is are these clearly wyverns?
It almost looks like you're looking at a swarm of bees.
no.
As hundreds of these winged creatures are beginning to lift up into the air as the ship is getting closer.
Well, we better warn Menti.
We're not on the
We're not that far away from it yet, but
Wait, how
Getting-
far?
It's getting closer.
we're on the Griffins.
Yeah, we're on the.
But we're not
Griffin.
that far away from the ship yet.
Right.
Just
Ship.
I'm gonna
Wire,
cast. I'm gonna cast Mirage Arcane to make it look like it's just clear skies and they don't see us.
Is there a save for that?
What is that?
Or actually, it says it's you make a terrain in an area up to 1 mile square look, sound, and smell, and even feel like some other sort of terrain. So, is it possible to?
Is there a save for recognizing it?
The casting time.
Creatures with true sight can see through the illusion to the terrain's true form.
And how long's the casting time?
10. Never mind.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
I would say it's doable.
10 minutes,
If you want to hang around.
1,000 feet.
I mean, you could try to convince Menti to try to steer away from them to give you the time you need to cast the spell.
To what end are we not fighting? How do we, like, what is the end game? To keep going?
Just outrun them, right? Can we outrun them?
I'm just trying to protect you guys.
I mean, as far as you can tell, I mean, this mass, it looks like there could be thousands of them.
Right.
And as they're lifting off, they're leaving just a dead forest behind. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before, but when we call them snowies, when snow geese land in a park, they will strip it bare in 2 weeks. And it's exactly what this looks like. This looks like you're watching a wyvern locust swarm lifting off the canopy of the trees. You don't know if the ship has disturbed them or something else, because the volcanic eruptions are persistent and constant in the background.
Are they headed towards us?
They seem to just be gradually lifting into the air, like they're swarming, like they're beginning to swarm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cast it.
So
try to.
Mira starts focusing on it, and she's
1 square mile. And it's
And is your goal to make it look like an area of the sky?
Yeah, like basically I'm just putting like a magic cover over us in the ship.
Okay. So if you guys have a plan for the next 10 minutes, how do you want to accomplish this?
All right, guys. What are we doing?
I mean,
I've
wherever
held this
you
for so long.
put it, I can also put like a wall of force there, or I can use like certain elements to like block them in a certain way to disrupt them, but I don't know how long that will last.
Yeah, I'll just put it in front of us like a curtain. Just
So Abraxas and Mira are now combining their idea. Mira's focusing on the invocation, the verbal, the semantic, expending the material. She's focused for the next 9 minutes. Abraxas is, and you're flying by yourself, Abraxas, at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on the
Nearby. Mira's on one of the griffins. Orc is on one of the griffins. For Jet and Keen, you've doubled up, if I'm hearing that correctly originally?
I think so.
Okay. So as you guys are circling out in front of the ship is a good 500 feet behind you. Down below, the swarm is now swirling more active as hundreds of wyverns are billowing about like a great black cloud mass. But that's when you realize they're not quite as big as you would think traditional wyverns would be. And now you can see creatures on their backs. These bulbous, fleshy creatures with wings tucked into their sides, carrying these wicked-looking spears tucked in up against themselves. They're a mixture of bone and cartilage and strange kind of like abominations. And you can see them kind of like clicking their heels into the sides of the wyverns, like guiding them to swarm, and this swarm is billowing and getting bigger. Within the next 5 minutes, halfway through the casting time, Does anybody want to do anything to help in this event that might be unfolding around you? You're mute, Gork.
Can I try to see if there's like any leader of the...
Give me investigation or perception, your choice.
How big is a swarm? Like over an area, like how many square feet?
Unending. Feels like you're staring at a cloud, a storm
Over the
cloud.
entire forest.
Yeah.
21.
21. There is the outline of something very large, deep in like the mass of the swarm. And you can see the outline of its huge wings, a tail, a rider, but it's hard to see it specifically. Like something very large is coaxing these creatures up into the sky. It almost kind of like the mummy face. It has a definition in the sandstorm, right? Like you could see the outline of something, but its clarity is obscured by the massing, swarming creatures around it.
Are we heading towards this thing or heading back to the ship?
I don't know. Does Frigette tell us about it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I do not know that.
And as Frigette begins to like point at the outline of whatever is very
would-
large down there amongst the mass.
I would like to dive straight towards it as I prepare a spell.
Wait, am I with Gork?
No, you're on your
No,
own.
Oh,
He
okay.
had to ride a single. Yeah.
I was like, rest in peace.
This big body of over. Yeah, Frigette.
Before he goes, can I bonus action sanctuary for him?
Okay.
So that he's warded from harmful spells or attacks. And they have to make
Okay.
a wisdom throw.
Good spell.
You watch as the pulse of the sanctuary spell billows around Gork as he arcs the griffin up and dives it down. First of all, give me animal handling. This is a maneuver for the griffin.
Come on, I can't be rolling like I have been. I've been rolling like 2s and 4s and stuff for animal handling. 18.
Nice. It lurches with you, feels your legs and ankles and heels guide into its ribs. You feel the feathers kind of puff out. The wings go out wide and then sharply narrow into like into a diving formation. The griffin arches up and just at a speed of a blur of feathers and color, you guys watch as Gork is now breaking ranks and dive bombing towards the swarm that's still slowly lifting up.
How far am I from it at this point?
You're now 500 feet from it. And
I
you
would
can
like-
hear the mass, the squawking cacophony of thousands of winged creatures with riders.
I would like to get within 120 feet of them.
As you start closing that distance, getting ever closer. What are you going to do, Gork, as you're now seeing the seething mass seize you?
As
And it begins to like swarm into tendrils and arc around like they're about to come right towards you.
As soon as I'm within 120 feet of this master creature, I'm going to cast Hypnotic Pattern right in its face.
So, as you're getting closer to the swarm, I need a perception check to see if you can see the creature within the body of the swarm.
Perception.
'Cause I believe you have to be able to see your target.
No. So Hypnotic Pattern, you create a twisting pattern of colors that weaves through the air inside a 30-foot cube. Within the range, the pattern appears to have a moment of vantage. So I pick a point, anything within 30 feet has to make a wisdom saving throw or it's charmed for the duration.
Okay, give me perception to see if you can make out the outline of the form, where it might be.
And while this creature is charmed, it is incapacitated and it has the speed of 0.
Well, you certainly can give it a go.
Go, Gork!
24.
24.
Oh, another 18, baby. Yeah.
So, as this hypnotic kind of blob of like energy and light appears 120 feet into the depth of the swarm. You watch as immediately the 30 feet space around it, dozens of these creatures begin to fall away. Dozens of them affected by the hypnotic pattern and just falling away from it, giving way to this strange magic that's appeared. It partitions a path deep into the swarm, and there you see this winged horror, this creature, this dragon, unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's huge, 300-foot long wingspan, kind of flurrying with ash and fire from the fringes of its wing. Its huge neck arcing up.
Oh no.
Its great mouth kind of opening up, and this gout of flame, this volcanic lava just starts spewing up towards you, Gork. Give me a dex save with advantage because the griffin is reacting to this as well.
Did not know it was a dragon. The dex save?
Mm-hmm.
So is that
What
a
does Sanctuary
attack
do again?
directed directly at Gorko?
It's more of an area effect.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, that's the problem. It's just spewing its flame directly in the direction it thinks this threat came from.
Another 18 for 24.
Okay.
Yes!
DC was a 22. So as you feel the griffin bank away, this huge, just like this hot mass of lava arcs through the air, and then you watch it arc down towards the ground and explode. Being that close, just to the feeling of the heat, you're going to take half of 62 points of fire damage as you and the griffin just feel this intense heat, causing the griffin to buck a bit and slam away. You watch the swarm begins to tightly close
Is
into
this
the
a
opening.
dragon, or is this more of a something else kind of dragon?
This feels like more of a something else kind of thing. This doesn't feel like a dragon. There was something strange about it.
Hypnotic pattern did not work.
You get the feeling it might be immune to charm.
I
But
mean,
the
it's a
creatures
dragon.
weren't. The creatures weren't. The other creatures were affected by that caused them to fall away with a kind of dazed effect from the charm spell. And then it exposed this massive terror in the midst. But seeing its lava spew from its mouth kind of reminded you of concept of hellfire.
Lava dragon.
I do not like dragons.
It's probably what attacked Anchor's weight.
Oh, 100%.
So I guess we're just gonna have to take care of it here.
I'm gonna dive straight at it again. I gotta get closer.
You bank around,
Dang.
and you're starting to bank towards it again. Keenan for Jet, Abraxas and Mira are busy getting the spell ready to create the illusion, to create this massive 1 mile effect to cover up for the ship and to create almost like a impromptu zone of safety.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And the two of
It's
you are
so
now
far
on
away.
the Griffin, and the Griffin's like
I don't have
Gork
too
is
much
arched up,
distance.
dived into it again. Mira is over on her Griffin, circling the ship and the area, doing her incantation. She needs 4 minutes to finish it.
Is the
Abraxas
dragon?
is flying near her. Dragon is still way below in the swarm. Like, it doesn't want to come out of the swarm.
Is it flying?
It's hard to tell. You saw the wings, but it's weird. You just saw this massive wingspan. You saw this neck and a dragon-like demonic face of a creature that wants to make you think it's a dragon. But there's something odd about it.
Well, I'll check in with Keen before we go for it, but you want to get closer? Because a lot of my stuff will have to be a lot closer than that.
Same here. I'm so far away, I can't really do anything from here.
Awesome, cool. Let's go.
Here we go.
You have to mention there's like
Fire is a
hundreds
little,
of those creatures swarming around it
Yeah,
as well.
I want to come in from like the underneath though, because Gork's kind of diving in from the top.
Down and going. You guys want to swoop
wanna
down from
Come up
below.
from below.
Okay. As the two of you do that, give me perception checks as you feel that. Well, give me animal handling to make sure the griffin's okay with it.
I'm gonna use Mayra's totem to redo that one.
Okay.
I got the same roll.
Oh,
8.
Ooh, that is unfortunate.
Okay. Bean?
No halfling
What?
look?
So we're doing what,
No, 'cause
perception, you said?
3.
Ah!
No, animal handling.
Oh, animal handling.
Help me out here, Keen.
15.
Between the two of you, it almost bucks away from the threat, but
Fair
Keen's
enough.
like, fuck no, you ain't. And Keen just kind of like digs her knee into the ribs, bringing the griffin back down into a dive to go underneath the swarm. Now you two can make perception checks as you try to gauge where to go next. Now that you're slightly below the swarm.
We are
8.
31.
It is focused on holding on to the harness, doing her best. She's looking over, but Keen, you lean to the right to look where the outlined body of the creature is, this huge, massive creature, in amongst the swarm. There's a long, thin series of smoke arcing from it back up towards the volcanic eruption. Almost like it's anchored to it, like it's connected to it. And as the volcano explodes, you watch as the creature kind of like reacts and pushes the swarm ever higher and is beginning to now circle the interior of the swarm, like it's trying to figure out how to like react to what's going on to it.
How far is the volcano?
It feels like it's a solid, it feels like it's a solid half-mile away.
So when the volcano erupted, it looked like it
Like it reacted
harmed
to
the
it.
dragon, or just
No, like it was drawing power from it.
oh, so it got a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, maybe. It just reacted to it.
Okay.
And
you
the
said there was-
swarm. So you're saying the swarm is here. There's like a tendril coming down to the volcano. Some sort of smoky tendril.
So there's like a swarm. Well, Keen can see this because they've gone below the swarm to look underneath it. And so what Keen is seeing, these contrails of smoke that are leading from the volcano up into the bottom of the swarm, almost as if it's manifesting the creature.
like a, yeah.
So it's like the volcano is somehow
Like coming
generated
from the
this
flow
thing.
of the volcano, like the lava.
The very edge of the caldera itself, just as the smoke and ash and lava are spewing out of the volcano, it's this river of smoke emanating from it that seems to connect to this creature.
I'm picturing like dust devils or like those like tornado-y.
A little bit but with like a weird demon dragon like form attached to it.
At the end.
Yeah, like the
Like a
wide the wide mouth end. The tail is leading back towards the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
Like an umbilical cord.
Okay. And you said it's like 500 feet or whatever across the thing, like the swarm?
Yeah, the swarm feels huge at this point. Like you're watching a massive storm cloud kind of just gradually rise off the ground.
Can't believe we're flying into it.
And you, Forget Gee, you're now below it.
Oh,
You're
okay.
below the swarm. The swarm is now slightly above you.
That's
And you can
good.
see hundreds of these winged creatures with these strange, kind of weird looking riders just clacking and screeching with joy as they hold their spears above their head. And they're following this creature ever higher up into the air.
So Mira's doing her thing. I just saw Frigette and Keen dive bomb underneath the thing. I've lost sight of them because they're underneath it.
Correct.
So
And Gork is making another pass down into the swarm.
yeah. I would like to also try to fly down, and I want to get under it. So what I'm going to do is I want to get to just as the cloud, like I want to come down on it, and then just as I get in range of any of the first bits of the cloud, I want to dimension door to the bottom underneath it.
Okay.
Right? I want to go 500 feet straight down so that I can be looking up at it. And if I see what Keen sees, there's another thing I would like to do.
So are you abandoning your wall of force ability? Because you were going to support Mira's 1 mile mirage.
Yeah,
with
my
a wall of
wall
force.
my wall of force is only 100 square feet, so it's not big enough for that. But it would have prevented. I had a different image in my mind of what we were seeing.
Gotcha.
So now that I've learned new things, I want to adapt. I'm like, stick to what you're doing, and I'm going to go fly straight down. I'm going to go poof, and then pop out underneath it, and I want to see if I see what Keen saw. With my passive perception, would I be able to?
As you fly down below, you're now seeing exactly what Keen saw.
Then I'm going to wall of force, basically a shearing wall between whatever the tendrils are and the cloud.
What's your range on that?
120 feet, and I have no, I can't find it. There it is. A visible wall of force springs into existence at a point you can choose within range. A point you choose within range, the wall appears in any orientation you choose as a horizontal or vertical barrier or at an angle. It can be free floating, and it can form a hemispherical dome or sphere with a radius of up to 10 feet, or I can make a flat surface of 10 foot by 10 foot panels.
Okay.
They all have to be touching. So basically, if there's some sort of tendrily connection, I want to make like a giant barrier. Like I want to shear the connection.
Give me a quick survival check as you try to gauge where best to put this.
Survival?
Yeah.
I'm going to... Okay. Skill check. So I can do this.
The tension is palpable.
That's a 19.
19. You get the feeling that you need to get on the other side of the swarm. And you need to come up and under a good 1,000 feet beyond the swarm, because the breadth of the tendril of smoke connected to it is too wide for what you want to do. But at that point, it's at its narrowest point.
Okay. So I'll just take off towards that.
The three of you have garnered some attention as tendrils of the swarm begin to dance down towards you. And they move so quickly, they slam in and around you. I need the three of you to make dex saves, please.
Me?
Abraxas, Keen, and Frigette, make dex saves.
Why? What? Oh, okay.
Because the swarm is now attacking you.
Okay. 23.
Okay.
It's a 23 for me as well.
Okay. Frigette?
25.
25. As you feel wings and tails and stingers and slashes from spears and gnashing teeth of hundreds and hundreds of these things slamming into the three of you. The griffin kind of bucks under the weight. Abraxas is down below the two of you as he's skimming and gliding on the surface of the ground, trying to get up and under. Everybody take half of 32 points of slashing damage from the effect.
Or none with evasion, right?
Correct.
Oh, I'll use
Well, you have
evasion as
evasion.
well.
Yep.
So what is it? 32.
Half of 32
16?
because you saved. So 16 points of slashing damage. Gork, you've attracted some of the tendrils of the swarm as you're beginning to dive as well. Give me another dex save as your animal handling is good enough now that the griffin knows that it's in combat and it knows what to do. You're mute if you're talking.
19.
19. That's the DC as you slam into the kind of like edging tendrils of the swarm, kind of these hundreds of creatures bashing and slamming off of you. Take half of 32 points of slashing damage from the effect.
Was that directed at him?
Yes.
Yes, that would be. Yeah.
So a wisdom save?
Is that a spell though, or does it matter?
It's a spell
Thank you.
attack or a regular.
Yeah, it's either
Physical
attack. Either attack stat type.
Yeah.
As you're getting slammed, Gork, the creatures, what is the effect if they fail again?
They have to pick a new target.
They immediately start banking away from you. And as they bank away, the tendril of the swarm that's surrounding you is arcing down towards the ground.
It goes away. It was a one-time thing, but
Every little bit helps because Gork is still moving at normal speed into the swarm. And as you do, that huge smoke monster, you can now see it. That huge, just fiery monster
How
laced into the swarm. Its huge dragon beak with demonic fire-like eyes kind of shifting towards you as you're coming into range with it.
how far or close am I to it?
You're about 100 feet from it because you're coming into the swarm and up into the form itself.
I need to get closer.
Give me another dex save as you push through the swarm.
Keen, I gotta get closer to you. Down.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
A 12.
12. You take 32 points of slashing damage as you feel the swarm bouncing and slashing and gnashing against you. Your movement is halved as the swarm's force is pushing you slightly back, which means you got to give me one more dex save to make that last bit. How close are you trying to get to it?
60 feet.
Okay, give me one last dex save.
That's 8. That's an 8.
You feel yourself get picked up off the griffin as the swarm is cycling around you almost like a mini tornado, and you watch as the griffin is falling away from you into the swarm, and the griffin is immediately shredded.
Oh.
You just see feathers and meat and animal off into different directions, and you just feel these gnashing creatures grabbing onto you. You feel
Now, am I
nails dig into your neck, and this swarm is tightening around you. Take another 32 points of slashing damage.
am I falling still, or are they essentially holding me up?
They're essentially holding you up, and they're trying to rip you apart.
I am going to cast. I'm looking for. I know I have it here.
Mira, 2 minutes left on your spell.
I'm going to use the crown and summon an army of giant eagles.
And that's once per how often?
It doesn't actually say. It just says, "Call where can call forth an army of beasts to aid them in combat. The beasts remain for 10 minutes."
Oh, that's right. That's the beast effect. All of you hear squawks and raptor calls as dozens of large eagles just suddenly appear all around Keen and Frigette, and they go up towards the swarm. And the tendril of the swarm follows them freeing Forget and Keen from the effects of the swarm for now.
Awesome.
Abraxas, you get benefited by that. And you glide your wings in such a way that you use Forget and Keen as almost like a shadow. And you're able to now get to the other side of the swarm. Keen and Forget, you're at the bottom of it, and you're watching as Abraxas is going beyond the swarm towards a fixed point that you're not sure what he's doing. But the two of you look up to see in the middle of the swarm, Gork is surrounded by hundreds, being held aloft after his griffin was shredded, and these things are ripping and pulling at him, trying to rip him into pieces. Gork, give me a concentration to save to see if you can even get a spell off.
I'm pretty okay at those. That is a nat 1.
Oh God!
You feel dozens of spiny talons and needle-sharp teeth and spears probing into the gaps of your armor as you take another 32 points of slashing damage from the effect of the encircling tendril. You're now incapacitated and restrained. You're blinded. You could just feel them closing tighter and tighter around you. But you've got the swarm's attention. This has freed up Forget and Keen. Abraxas has made it to the other side, just as Mira finishes the spell. Mira, you watch as the mile-long mirage safely hides the ship behind it. Does this require concentration?
Nope. It stays up for 10 days.
10 days.
You tell telepathically to Menti she's safe to continue moving. And your griffin arcs up to look down. You can see Gork. He's in trouble. He is swarmed and he is being slowly ripped apart. If it wasn't for his natural constitution and his physical prowess, anybody else would have been shredded by now. You can see Forget and Keen below the mass. You've lost sight of Abraxas. He's somewhere on the other side of the swarm.
Okay.
Well, question. Would my
Yes.
hypnotic pattern have still been up? Oh, wait, no.
It's concentration, correct?
Yeah.
So you can, I mean, did you cast another concentration spell?
Well, I didn't cast any other concentration or spell.
But
However,
you tried to
I
cast
have-
a spell and lost concentration from the effect of the swarm. So
Well,
we'll
no,
say,
no, I wasn't, because I never got within range. So I never had a chance to cast the spell.
No, you got within range. That's what. So you were verbalizing to me that you were about to cast a spell. So we'll say that was your concentration
Okay.
failure that got rid of hallucinogenic pattern.
I'd have to make 2 saves versus against it anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
But right now you're swarmed. You're tightly being held aloft in the air as they're buffeting underneath you, and they're frustrated. It's like pulling apart a can. They can't find the edges. They can't, like, they rip at your armor expecting it to come apart, but they watch your skin kind of bulge with the effort to pull it apart, and they're confused and they're angry and they're screeching in your ear, and you can feel just dozens and dozens of needle-like slashes and punctures across the minimal exposure of your body. Mira, what do you want to do while the others are either down below, you've lost sight of Abraxas, and Gork is being restrained by the swarm?
Yeah. So Gork is in like the heart of the swarm right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was trying to get to the smoke monster again.
Okay. And looking at these riders, do I get the sense that they're undead?
You can give
Or-
me a quick insight check to see if you can figure out what they are.
Oh, sure, 7.
They don't look like undead, but you're not really sure what they are at all. They have demonic visages. They seem like aberrations. They seem like all the things that hell could spit out are being spat out right now.
So I'm gonna cast. You know what? I'm just gonna make a beeline towards Gork, and I'm gonna cast anti-life shell on myself.
Okay, what does that do?
It is
Yes, ladies and
shimmering-
gentlemen, welcome to level 19 Druids. It's a show.
a shimmering barrier extends out from you in a 10-foot radius and moves with you, remaining centered on you and hedging out creatures other than undead and constructs. The barrier lasts for the duration. And the barrier prevents an affected creature from passing or reaching through. An affected creature can cast spells or make attacks with the range or reach weapons through the barrier.
Gork, there's a flash of energy in your eyesight. Suddenly, you feel something slam into you. Mira, you feel the griffin and the force barrier around you collide with Gork. Gork, you grab onto the neck of the griffin.
I got you.
And the two of you are now like barreling through, and these creatures are just like falling away like corn stalks as you're like pushing through it and watching them like arc towards and like up against it and like slide away from it. And they're screeching in pure hatred and just like trying to get to the two of you. For Jet and Keen, what do you want to do? And then we'll do Abraxas.
So Keen and I are gonna start flying up, well, towards Gork.
You feel the Griffin Rider arcing up towards the swarm.
And I'm gonna cast what was it called? Spirit Guardians on
Okay.
myself. So a 15-foot spear around myself. Any creatures that enter that area or start their turn there have to make a Wisdom save, or take 3d8 radiant damage.
So, as you guys arc the Griffin Rider up, for Jet summons her spirits. And what they look like now?
They're my Truth Seeker friends.
And they're avatars of all your Truth Seekers. And they start slamming into these creatures and incinerating these creatures as this has created like a pattern of protection around you and Keen. Keen, what do you want to do?
I don't really have anything that can... Are those smoke tendrils like along the ground
That
connect to the dragon?
It's what you thought were numerous tendrils is really one large one that's like 200-300 feet across and arcing back up towards the volcano. But there's tendrils coming from the volcano, but there's a thin point that Abraxas seems to be going towards. Like you could see him gliding along the ground, heading towards some point in front of him that he's trying to get to.
Full
All
top
of you-
gun through the mountains kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
the
cool.
four of you have successfully kind of like kept the swarm focused on you, so it doesn't notice Abraxas as it gets beyond and behind it.
Okay.
Forjet's got the swirling guardians. You can see Mira's recovered Gork, and she's kind of like encased in this blinding light of protection around the two of them.
I don't really have anything that can do stuff right now.
Your
'Cause we're
eagles are up in the swarm.
Yeah, the eagles are up.
Yeah.
We're in the air. We're somewhere between Gork and the creature.
Yeah.
The swarm, right? So. How?
You watch as an eagle gets shredded as the swarm kind of rips through it. Feathers and kind of gore falling away.
How far away is the dragon thing right now?
The smoke creature that looks like a dragon, is about 100 feet away from you up in the swarm, and it's rising with the swarm. You get the feeling that the swarm is kind of like part of it somehow. Where it goes, they go. Where they go, it goes. And it all seems to be connected back towards the edge of that volcanic caldera that Abraxas is heading towards a midpoint.
Okay. I will just protect Forget. If anything comes
You
close,
like-
'cause yeah.
You feel with your crown, you pull back what few remaining eagles are available. And as they come back between the spirit guardians and the eagles, it's like this buffer, this little miniature buffer of resistance against the swarm. Mira and Gork are up above, kind of doing the same thing with Mira's effect around it. But what's strange is you look up and away, no sign of the ship, the mirage taking effect, and just the landscape of the horizon kind of giving it protection. As the swarm is still lifting, and you guys are kind of riding along with it, trying to keep it busy. Abraxas, you're behind it now. You're at that point where you could see the smoke contrails coming from the volcano kind of gather at a certain point.
And the volcano is further away, like
Much further away.
much further away.
Yeah.
So the wall of force does not allow any physical or magical anything to pass through it. And I can choose to shunt things off to either side. So basically, I'm just gonna do one of these like full air brake stops, like, and then throw like
Your
a big
wings.
wall.
Yeah. You lance out the spell across the breadth of the smoke. The rest of you up above, suddenly, it's just raining ash. As the connection with it is broken, the anchor no longer available to it, and it's silent again. All you can hear is the volcano erupting in the distance. All of you look down to see Abraxas just like hovering there, concentrating on this spell that has caused the smoke to slam into it and buff it away. And just all over the valley, it's just raining this black ash of what used to be the creature. And these other thousands of creatures just raining down. You're mute, Cork.
You just hear me howl in frustration that the beast is simply on like that.
But Abraxas is maintaining. Is it concentration, Abraxas?
It is. So I want to be very clear in saying that, like, I don't want might be temporary. So we need to figure out what is causing this thing, or we have to fucking book it.
And with the containment of the swarm that was like covering the horizon, now off in the direction where you know Menti is heading towards, now you can see the great columns of smoke rising probably from every civilized village, or just this expanse is dotted with the signs of destruction from whatever this creature was or is. But Abraxas he's like maintaining his wings, holding and concentrating on the effect. And because he's bifurcated its main focus, you could see that the smoke is building and building, and the volcano's erupting more sporadically, and huge, like, arching lava constructs are just exploding out, arching towards on either side of you, crashing into the ground. Then you hear a horn, and then another, and then dozens more. Hundreds more, is down on the ground. Small pockets of craters burst open, and you watch as these demonic-looking creatures start crawling out of the hole. Some with banners attached to their bodies, carrying wicked-looking weapons, as they start swarming up and out of the ground, pulling themselves out. You watch as a huge Balrog lands, and it brings up a great horn, blows into it, and more craters open as Legion is beginning to spill forth around this volcanic eruption.
Is this below us or off towards the volcano?
All below you in the direction of the volcano, beyond where Abraxas is. The roots of the mountain itself. You can see flares of craters opening on the ground off in the distance. You watch as a second Balrog
Oh my gosh.
lands on the ground, brings out a great horn, blares into the horn as more legion is now pouring through the gateways that are opening all around this peppered, cratered area.
I'll turn the mirror. Get us to the others.
Yes.
And then as soon as we are within range,
Down by Fridget and Keen. Fridget and Keen and Gork and Mira. Your Griffin's exhausted though, because Gork is heavy as fuck. So it's like it's lingering a little lower than Fridget and Keen's Griffin because 250-pound Templar not on its back.
Covered in
Thin
metal.
Keen, little Fridget, and now all of you are kind of like the two of you are gathered nearby where Abraxas is holding back the effects of the smoke. But all of you are watching off in the distance as the rest of these just monstrous creatures are coming into effect. And then hundreds of just bone devils, demons, and succubi, and incubus, and just bearded demons, and bearded devils, and zorns, and just like everything that hell can spit out is
army.
just erupting from these craters.
Gork,
On the ground.
salivate.
Yeah. This
No,
isn't.
but I will.
We can win right now.
As soon as we are to the others, I'll turn to come near me, and I will again cast Aura of Vitality. So as long as we are close enough together, we will heal, and I guess we'll deal with that in a little
That's
bit.
fine. Yeah,
I can
go
leave
for it.
the wall there, and then I guess it's like the dome. I guess if I could say the hemispherical kind of wall is like keeping it like kind of contained and like rolling on itself, and then we need to
I guess
run
we're looking
away.
We gotta
Run
gotta
away
head
or push
to
the
ship.
volcano.
I'll turn to the others. What are we going to do about that then? Also, is the smoke still there? Like, is it still trying to come through the wall?
It's trying to, yeah, but it's unable to penetrate this magical barrier that Abraxas has put up.
We don't have much time to make a plan. What is it we want to do with this?
We will be overwhelmed if we stay.
We can return to the ship. We can turn its guns onto the demons down below. Perhaps buy a little time for someone to go into the city and... Well, I don't really know what to do. I don't know really why we're here.
Well, the smoke is being sourced from the volcano.
Oh, you don't suppose that the book is in the volcano, do you?
Oh, like probably.
In the city.
No, in the volcano. Remember, like whenever there's gates and weird hell things, it's like that's where the book is.
Yes, book in volcano. I assume we came this way to try and save the city, or at least I know you wanted to.
That's what we started to do.
That was the plan. We picked a
mean,
direction.
That was before we ran into all this stuff.
Question,
Wait,
storyteller: are any of those demons flying creatures?
Half of them are either flying and the other half are marching. With every minute that passes, more craters open up. You watch as one of the largest demons you've ever seen kind of lands. It's got like 6 arms and 2 sets of wings coming off of it. This great flaming crown around its brow. It brings up this great blackened horn and blows into it. Hundreds of more craters
Guys, we need to go.
start opening up as more and more of Legion begin to pour out, floating, flying.
Where are we
screaming.
going?
To the volcano. We gotta stop this.
We gotta-
Right?
Otherwise, it's gonna take over
Must cut
everywhere.
off the source.
Off to the volcano.
If the
So
city
maybe-
burns, it will have to burn.
Yeah.
Mira, you should take the griffin so Gorks can
That creature.
be solo on one of them. Abraxas, can I?
At that in the mirror, do you wish
I
to
could just-
turn one of us into a bird lady?
I could just wild shape. I'll be
yeah,
fine.
that works too. Yeah, you could do animal magic for sure.
I'll turn into an eagle.
Oh, bird lady is returned.
Pia.
Are you on my back?
Sure.
Who
Sure.
can
We'll get
tell
you-
Minty to adjust course? She needs to turn towards the volcano. Well,
Well,
question: will
No.
her turning to the volcano take her over all these creatures?
Oh yeah.
well, she's hidden
she's got
by
the
the
Mirage.
I've heard.
mirage. It's up there for 10 days. If she
She's
just stays in
hiding
that
behind it,
mile, yeah.
Can she fire from behind
Would
it?
someone like to tell Minty to hide behind the mirage until we call for her?
Yeah, I'll fly over and let her know.
Yeah, can we have her and the constructs?
Mira, as you fly back up over the barrage and you fly through the magical barrier, on the deck of the ship, you can see the recovered Templar. She's got her two-handed blade on her back again. She's got her helmet underneath her arm. She's looking up and she sees you and sees that you're on her mount. She recognizes her mount and sees you and just smiles. And you watch as a set of wings like come out of her backside, and she leaps up into the air and she have I missed the show?
It's just begun.
Wait, quick question. Wouldn't
Yeah.
I still be on the mount?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're there too, Gork.
Yeah, I know, because I turned
Oh.
into a giant.
Oh, did we all
No,
go
she
back?
yeah.
Did we
She's you're on the mount down below.
We don't have
I'll
a lot of
say-
time.
Yeah, I'll say that
I
she
flew
as
away.
she flies up and sees you, Mara, in your eagle form, she looks down to see Gork down on her mount. She sees where all of you are gathered below, and then she can see Legion kind of unveiling itself in these many different craters, and her wings are just kind of flying alongside you, Mara. And she's looking around, and she reaches into her bag and she pulls out something, and she rips it apart, and she throws up the magic into the sky, and you watch as two creatures appear on either side of you and her. They're huge white wings, their blue skin, their silver eyes, as two palantirs start floating on either side of you, and then they dive down towards where the rest of you are below.
Minty, stay there.
And it's just like this automaton going, yeah, we're actually going to go a little ways over here, actually. And you can feel the ship kind of shift, or you can see it shift, like it's following the mirage to kind of keep itself as far away from the gathering of Legion down below. That's now thousands and thousands of creatures pouring out of these gateways. You can see Balrogs and other demons and devils beginning to form up with legions around them. And all of this just feels like it's coming from that volcano to a degree. This feels like the beginning of something that requires a finish.
Yeah, Mira will escort the ASMR down below to the group.
She's...
Or you live.
No thanks to you, Gork.
You're welcome.
You are known to us. All of you are known to us. Aloha gave me very specific instructions, and I'm afraid I've failed.
What
She
did
said
you
that
tell me?
she said under no circumstances allow them to engage with any creatures that come up. And it seems that we are heavily engaged. Her wings just beating behind her.
Do you know why these demons are so interested in the city?
There is nothing left of the city. The only thing between them and the city itself, I believe they're going after a small town in the Azure Valley. The original temple to Ayun is down there. Alora thinks the book is there.
We have suspicions that it might be at the volcano as I point towards the smoke coming from it.
These feel like gateways. And you watch as she looks at the two Palantirs. She closes her eyes for a moment. And you watch as they just soar down towards the mass hordes that are kind of like coming through the gateways down below. Uh-oh, I'm going to put the two giggle monsters next to each other.
Man, we wanted to go to the Azure Valley.
The eagle is just like,
She used the cloak, so and I rolled a 1, so she got revealed. So it's like,
Oh man.
yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. The mass of the army is the escalation point. The destruction of the city feels like they were looking for something there. The one lone surviving Griffin Rider, a paladin, an Azimir of a celestial order, is the only one that survived. And she does have information from Allura. And then she kind of looks at the 5 of you. I believe Allura and Kima are down there as well.
Oh no.
They felt that it was important that they try to find what they thought was there. Get it before anybody else can.
In the temple, you mean?
Perhaps, if the temple's even there. Like I said, they thought they had gathered some information from Urlis or Uthodurn at the academy or library that's there that led them to believe that possibly it was down there.
Then let us go. What is that creature there with the crown? The one with 6 arms.
I don't really know, and I'm okay with that. And she starts flying away.
I just kind of sit there staring at the creature. I do not know what you are, or what your name is. And I'm just kind of just saying this to myself, and I guess if you are that here. I will have your skull, and I will present your crown to Grumush. That's the trophy.
Gork kind of kicks the Griffin Rider over and kind of like follow. Is everybody heading out of the valley at this point?
Yeah.
As I guess we're headed towards the temple.
Well, the Azure Valley, which is littered with dozens and dozens of farming villages, and the very center of the valley is just kind of like a landmark village that describes the entirety of the area. Once you guys start moving more and more away from the sounds of the erupting volcanoes and get further away from this monstrous horde that's coming out of that area, Menti, you could still feel the telepathic connection. She is guiding the ship, and the Mirage travels with her, correct, Mara? Or is it stationary?
I believe it's stationary.
If it's stationary, she is circling in a 1 mile radius to stay hidden behind it. I need everyone to give me perception. Or you already know where you're going. Give me investigation checks as you're now getting deeper into the center of the valley.
You said investigation?
Yes.
14.
Okay.
Hey, yay for -2.
Nat 20,
19.
21.
19, 21.
24.
As we're flying, I would like to kind
31.
of pull on Keen and Frigid. Or have either of you known what that kind of creature that is? What kind of demon?
Can I do a history check to see if
Give it a try, see what you can think of.
Nice.
I'll try, but I'm not good at either religion or history.
Well, I mean, you come from a demon hunter later, and Frigid reads books, so one y'all might know.
I got a 9.
30-20.
30-20?
Mm-hmm.
Also, question: my aura vitality. I don't know how long that we would be within its range before we all just start flying off again.
I mean, I'm healed to max.
Same here.
I think I'm healed again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and the Mirage.
no, I used
stays
evasion.
in one
And
place.
I didn't take
Yeah,
damage.
we used evasion. We
None of
didn't-
y'all
Yeah.
took damage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, then I guess it's just me. Never mind.
Devils and demons take on many different purposes and functions. The Balrogs tend to be more like arch demons, creatures that are designed to control lesser demons and devils that were being brought into the prime material plane. Somebody has exercised a great deal of magical ability. They've opened up the gates of Avernus. It's the first thing that you pick up on. And this has allowed Legion to travel from all the different depths of hell, and they're now pouring out onto the material plane. There's almost scripture that you've read time and time again, Fridget, on this, and it's playing out like a bad joke of oil paintings, like right in front of you. It's like you remember going to your studies and seeing these bizarre kind of like artist renderings that you know are just fictional. There's no way this actually ever happens. And it's happening down behind from the area that you guys are now leaving. You get the feeling that the one with the crown is wearing the crown of Asmodeus. But it's not Asmodeus. It feels like an archdevil, somebody who's been subjugated. You get the feeling that the entity, the child, the daughter of Asmodeus, who's been kind of, well, she's always been a difficult child. And she seems to be using this opportunity to seize the last book in the hopes of doing something that you're really not sure what her plan is. Like, we know these books are memories, and this is kind of like, this is your thought process as you're listening to Gork talk, and you guys are shifting over towards the village and getting closer to it. These memories feel like both creation and destruction at the same time. The scriptures written about her is that she is always constantly trying to steal this crown from her father. And it is said that the crown of Asmodeus allows you to control all demons and devils within the 9 hells. She has gifted this crown to a major archdevil that is doing her bidding. But why this book? Why this book? Give me another history check as you start thinking about this final book that you and the team and your friends are trying to find.
Dirty 20.
This is her book. This is her realm. She wants her memory back of how she came into existence, how the prisons were made, how the fight actually went, what magics, what entombments, what deities interfered, and what didn't support her father at the time of his most important need. She understands this book is memory, and she's trying to get it back. And she's willing to unleash everything she can to guarantee that she'll get it back. If it is her book, she may already know where it is. This might explain why Keen was not able to get a response from Alora. If Alora and Kima are down in that small village where one of the original dedicated temples to Ioun, the very first dedication to Ioun, is, and if that is where the book is, why Ioun? She is the patron of magic. She's the patron of the idea of how magic binds the world together. These thoughts drift in and out as you guys are now getting closer towards the village, closer. And there you could see the wrecked remains of an airship scattered across the landscape. You see dozens of bodies bearing the insignia of her order as all of you kind of land nearby. It's silent in kind of a strange way. You can't even hear the volcano anymore. All the buildings on the perimeter of the town have been flattened. Just rubble. Whatever fight took place here was intense. You could see the magical outcome of like lightning and firebolt. but no sign of Kima or Laura at this point. Just the scattered remains of the ship, dozens of her attendees, but no sign of the enemy either. Just this pervasive sense of just... And then all of you see it. You look in the very center of this, more of a town than a village. All the other spots that you saw were like hamlets. Like imagine a great kind of like valley filled with small little villages and hamlets that make up the greater population of this point. Either herdsfolk, farmers, those who are trying to scratch out a living in this valley. This town, this landmark, smallish town, the very center, a perfectly intact, simple church. In front of it, you can see a great statue of Ayun, where it's her physical face, her profile of her face, connected to the body of just like a bronze amplification leading up into its face. And there you can see the great representation of the stone of Ayun, kind of like emblazoned in its forehead. Her face arcing up and looking up, like almost as if she's begging for the heavens to open up. And beyond that, a simple set of stone stairs leading up to the entrance of the chapel. No visible damage to any of it. Everything around it, though, laid waste. I need everyone to make wisdom saves, please. If you're talking, Gork, you might be muted.
+4 because you're close to me.
Yep.
A dirty 20.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
13 plus. I'm going to use my mirror.
Plus how many?
+4 for being near Gork.
29.
Okay.
Ooh.
25.
Oh, damn it.
Okay. Brax is
16.
Brax is sweating
I
bullets.
was wondering if you're going to need help with that.
No. I was just trying to, because I was trying to remember.
Deeper.
What
Are there any dice I can roll?
Yeah.
Well, you have
There are,
two of
actually.
them.
Yeah.
I can roll it again. Yeah, I'll do the, but I mean, I
It'll be a
got what
hard
I got.
fight.
You know what I mean? I
There's
got
a
what I got.
hard fight coming up.
Yeah, I got what I got.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, you can only like harness the reactionary things. You know?
The sound of 1,000 voices fill all your ears. You watch as the Azamir, she collapses to her knees, grabbing onto her head, and then shaking her head and getting back on her feet. All of you have the same similar reaction, except for Abraxas. He stands there with peaceful contemplation on his face as his arms go limp, and he is just casually walking up towards the entrance, like he's listening to a siren song.
I got something for this. Where is it? I was just looking at it.
I give him the dreaded rear admiral.
Oh, I'll walk up to him. Or are we still on the mounts? Or
No, you guys are on the ground,
I will.
Okay.
surveying all the damage. And as you're on the ground, you hear this cacophony of screams and shrieks, of whispers and agonies. But while you guys hear it, Abraxas just looks very serene and begins walking towards the center of the town.
I'll quickly walk up to him, lay my hand on his shoulder, and cast Calm Emotions. You can suppress any effect causing a target to be charmed or frightened.
So, Abraxas, this will allow you to take another wisdom save. It's not quite powerful enough to do what it's doing.
+4.
But plus
So it's
4 because
19.
you're 19. 19 is the DC. You feel the serenity of the moment drift away, but now you can hear the continuous cacophony of screams and agony of yelling. All of you, every 5 minutes you're here, you will be taking 4 points of damage, as it is constant. It has allowed you to avoid the siren song of the succubus, but it's painful to force it away from you. You can feel blood beginning to thinly drip from your ears as it's getting almost nauseous.
And we don't know where it's coming from, like a source.
Feels like it's coming from everywhere.
I turn to the
Psychic damage?
Where is this?
Yeah, it would be psychic damage.
Okay.
Where is this supposed to be, this temple?
It's right in front of you as far as you
It's
can
the
tell.
church.
It looks like a simple church, and it's got a dedicated statue of Ayun
okay,
in
we're
front of it.
I didn't
So it's
realize.
in the center of town. I mean, a good 1,000 feet away from where you're currently
Can I
standing.
cast Divine Sense?
What's the range on that?
This is 60 feet.
Okay, how long does it last for?
It's just an action. Just
Yeah. Other than the Azimir kind of being a little sparkly behind you, no real relatable divine, like no real kind of like feeling that anything's immediately there.
I will walk into the church.
And are the planters still
Actually,
present?
I would like to. I've had this.
No,
forever.
they were left back with Legion to deal with delaying them.
Okay.
I would like to, as I'm walking into the church, I would like to coat my sword with frostworm poison.
As you're walking up towards the steps, and you guys are watching as Gork is walking towards the steps, what are the rest of you doing at this point?
I am mad because someone has taken my agency away from me or tried to. So I'm trying to reinforce my mind and just kind of focus and be mad.
Keen for Jet, Mara, anything you guys want to do? Mara, are you still an eagle?
I popped out.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Abraxas, take 2 points of damage. Everyone else, go ahead and take another 4. Oh, Keen broke her camera again.
I don't know.
There it is. She's back.
I have the sword out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tempest sword is out, and it is blazing with blue light. Just this coalescent of blue light shining around it.
And it's a long sword. I don't remember exactly what it was. Like
Yeah,
what,
it's a long
what
sword.
actual it's a long sword, okay.
Yeah.
So it's strength based.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I have the sword out and I'm like man on a mission.
Gork,
So-
as you put your first foot on the first stair of the church to go up towards its entrance, feel this barrier hit you. Give me an intelligence save, please.
Not 20. I
Wow.
fall on D if I don't drop my dice.
I have detect magic up as well, so I have any wards, glyphs, anything.
Okay.
Damn it.
Did you just roll it on the ground again?
Yes. Hey, come on. Intelligence save?
Correct.
17.
17. You, with your mind, you kind of push and will yourself through it. And you come through on the other side. The rest of you watch as something restrains Gork, but he manages to push through it. Gork, take half of 21 points of psychic damage.
I'll just quickly lay on hands for 20 points.
Okay. As Gork steps up the stairs towards the entrance, the rest of you can see that Abraxas is focusing on trying to keep his mental strength, his mental acuity organized. His longsword comes out. The Tempest Blade is now blaring with blue, hot energy wrapping around it.
And for flavor, when we leveled up, I took a feat that made me like expertise. Like I've suddenly been gifted the gift of magical knowledge, so my arcana is like through the roof.
Yeah.
So if there's any magical symbol or magical
this
thing,
environment right now doesn't feel magical to you.
Okay.
What it feels is like something trying to concentrate on dominating the physical will of everybody around here as a means of control.
Mm-hmm.
Abraxas, take 2 points of damage. Everyone else take 4.
Guess we're going in.
Including me.
Yeah.
Yep, including you, Gork, because the cacophony of the shrieking voices
Just checking.
are still there.
I don't know where I went
Gork
yet.
is further ahead than everybody else. As you guys are now edging towards the church, you watch as Gork goes in. Gork.
Do I get the idea that if we blocked, like if we deafened ourselves, that it would, like if we found a way to silence it, it would be like even if we just stuffed our ears, we'd be deafened, but we wouldn't be taking damage
This feels more like it's psychic forced.
in the brain.
Yeah, like it's bowing its will and it's forcing people's wills to subjugate to the dissonance of all the voices of hell is what it feels like.
Psychic,
Nice.
you said?
Mm-hmm.
I have resistance to psychic.
So you take half.
I'm just gonna follow after Gork through the
Okay.
Same.
door.
You watch as you guys begin to get closer towards the church. The 4 of you now feel yourselves push through another barrier. I need intelligence saves from everybody, please. Except for Gork, because he already did his.
17.
Okay.
19.
Okay. Mira?
14. But if we're
Okay.
close to him, does that add the 4 or no?
Are we out of the range of the 4?
Yeah, I would say you're just barely in the range of the 4. No, because he's gone up and in.
Yeah.
So I'll say he's out of range at this point.
Okay.
So 14 for Mira. Abraxas, what'd you get?
I'm going to. I got a 14 as well, but I think I'm going to re-roll that.
Okay, go for it.
Come on. Much better. 18.
Okay. For Jet, you pass through. Keen, you pass through. Abraxas passes through. Mira, you're struggling. You feel the force barrier in front of you. You're trying to pass through, but as you try to struggle and pass through, the rest of you notice that she's gone.
So the rest of us are there except for Mira.
Gork, you're up inside the church. The others have passed through that barrier that you struggled through.
And she's vanished.
She was like pushing through and then gone.
Any indication of where she went?
I mean, you're looking
disappeared.
around. It just felt like whatever that barrier was might have absorbed her.
Oh.
Gork, as you enter into the interior of the church, you can hear your friends behind you, but you're hyper-focused. As you look into the church, you hear a weak voice to your right. As you look to your right, a mortally injured Kima is leaning up against a stone column.
Akima?
Don't go in there. Don't. You can see her stomach is opened. You can see the organs have spilled out onto the ground. You can see that she's covered in dozens of wounds. Her skull is peeking through a great gash across her face. Don't go. Alora's dead. She's dead. Don't go in there.
I will reach down and touch her and cast Luster Restoration.
Do we?
Need you to make a intelligence save as you touch her.
I was going to say, as we go in there, do we see?
What'd you get, Gork?
17.
17. It's getting harder. As the three of you come up into the entrance of the chapel, you see Gork leaning down to touch a heavily mortally injured Kima, and he's gone. And so's Kima. But out in front of you, in the middle of the church, in the middle of the main aisle of the church, you can see the unmoving body of Alora. She looks like she's been shredded. What are you guys doing? Welcome to level 19, folks. It's not always a dagger and a sword.
It's magic. So I would detect.
This doesn't feel like magic. This doesn't feel like magic. This is something else.
How are people disappearing then?
Good question.
Can I roll an Arcana check? Or?
Yeah, go for it. You're proficient in that now. See if the absence of magic is the problem.
A 22.
That's exactly the problem. There's no magic here. But yet, Ayun, she is the focus of all magic. She is the bringer of the weave, the idea that she knows all the ancient secrets of magic. It's almost like you're in amongst a collision of its resistance or its absorption. You get the feeling that Gork and Gork and Mira are in the ethereal plane. They've been absorbed by a contest that is going on here. Something is experiencing a memory.
What? I say that out loud as I'm like thinking out loud for Jet and Keen.
Yeah.
And you could hear Laura crying for help.
Oh. I thought she was motionless.
I thought she was okay. I'm gonna try to go over.
I get a little closer.
I would stop. I would be like, wait. This is all.
She's gotten to the book.
We can't believe our senses. There's something wrong here.
Do I see the book?
Everybody take 4 points of damage, except Abraxas. You're resistant, so take 2. That's a cacophony of wailing and screams are actually a bit louder. Give me an investigation or perception, Keen, as you begin to look around the interior of the church. Which is surprisingly plain and simple. What'd you get?
That one.
Yeah, no sign of it anywhere.
Okay.
Help me.
I'm going to go towards Allura.
Help me.
I'm gonna try and because at this point I have to like let Keen do it because I need more information. So I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna do everything to like look around and see what happens when I'm hyper alert with every magical sense I have.
I mean, because she's basically like my parent. So
Yeah, I mean,
I am going to her.
Get it?
Yeah. As you get closer, the wounds are egregious. She's lying in her own pool of blood. Her dried, blonde, grayish hair kind of all matted into her face. You're watching her lifeblood just drain out around her.
Cast Cure Wounds.
Give me an intelligence save, please.
14.
You watch as Keen vanishes.
Yeah.
Is there like any kind of altar or anything?
Give me investigation or perception as you look around, desperately wondering where your friends have gone. What is this? Why? Where is Gladys? Where is the book? And Alora's gone as well.
Yeah. 17.
17. You look around. This place is simple for a reason. Why is it simple? It's as if it was when it was built. But why? Why is that important? Gork naturally wants to heal, and he tried to heal Kima. It disappeared. Mira couldn't get through the magical barrier, or was it a magical barrier? Keen reacted to seeing her patron dying on the ground and went to heal her. It's the absence of magic. It's its absence. Its absence. Why? Why is it absent? If she has the book, is she unmaking magic? Is she already starting to do what she feels like she needs to do? But without the other books, how could she do this? What is she doing? And you're frantically looking around. She's got to be here. She is expressing her power. She has the book, or she's in contest with the book. Legion rages out near the volcanic roots of the mountainscape. Both of you can give me insight checks as you're taking in all of this, trying to...
22.
22.
18.
18. You look over your shoulders at the entrance to the church, and there you can see the back of the Azimir, who's currently standing in front. She has her blade out like she's staring off in the direction of Legion, just waiting, anticipating their strike. You look around, the aisles, the pews. You both look up at a very simple stone altar with nothing really about it that seems interesting. Once again, why the simplicity of this space? The altar kind of like attracts the both of your eyes, and you stare at it for a moment. And both of you can see along the edge of where the altar meets the platform that it sits on, see like grooves, like this thing might be movable.
I'll go around and try to push it.
Yeah.
Give me a strength check.
With help, I guess.
With advantage.
8.
Doesn't budge.
Yeah.
Let's go when you need him. Gosh darn it.
I'm going to use. Can I get double advantage if he helps me and I give myself enhanced ability?
Double advantage.
Right?
Well, why don't I try?
Yeah.
Help me.
You feel like a gentle pat on your head. Just let me give it a go.
I'll do that help.
Go ahead, Abraxas. Give me a strength check.
So, okay. Oh my goodness. A 10?
Yeah, it doesn't want to
Much
budge.
better.
Doesn't want to budge.
I'll spend a sorcery point. Try again. Let's see if I can get a little higher.
Okay.
Come on, dude.
I can give you
Natural
an enhanced
one.
ability.
A natural one.
Yeah, it just feels like it should move, and it's not. And that's when the pews around you are now filled with shadows of people.
I think I'm gonna get angry, and I have a sword in my hand, and I'm chopping. I'm gonna fucking just try and cut it right.
Give me
down.
an attack roll as you bring the Tempest Sword down on the altar.
Yeah, fuck this.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. It's okay. I had set it up already. 23 to hit.
23. All of you are in front of the church, staring up, looking to go into it for the first time. You look at your sword, Abraxas. Your anger.
I'm just gonna do the exact same thing as I apply the poison to my blade and walk up into the church.
Yeah, Gork is doing what he did, what you remembered him doing as he was moving forward before. Everybody else is moving past you. Once again, the curse of time, Abraxas. Your memory remains intact. They all seemed about to repeat exactly what they just did before.
I'm going to say freeze, stop.
I'll turn back what?
Do not stray from the goal. There's going to be deceptions in here. I saw it.
What kind of deceptions? Isn't this why we came here?
We'll see. It's not real though. It's a memory. It's a
What isn't real?
what you see in there. Your desire to help. Your desire to heal. Stay focused because there's more to this place than.
Yeah, Azamir, how do you know this?
Oh, he does that.
Yeah.
He does do that.
Oh,
He does that.
I will continue to walk up into the church.
I'm a fourth dimensional being.
Yeah, he is. Questionably
the
high.
Azamir kind of looks over at Abraxas and
He legally gets the
And,
metagame sometimes.
I don't know if it's illegal. I think it's more of the creative side of things. So, Gork, you start walking towards. This is when you guys notice that you don't hear the voices anymore.
Mm.
Ooh.
For Abraxas, it's unique to the outcome of what just happened. For the rest of you, you feel like they just stopped. Gork, as you get near the first stair, all of you hear like a small child's playful laughter.
Question: we don't undo the damage we took so far?
No.
We didn't go back
That's
in time. Okay,
Yeah, that part of it. This was a micro blip
gotcha.
that was the after effect of
For
Abraxas'
the illusion.
anger because he struck the altar.
And I'm guessing the child's laughter is coming from inside the church.
No, it's actually coming from a very small, red-skinned succubus. She's maybe 2 feet tall, with small little childlike wings, a small tail. She's wearing kind of like wearing a toddler's kind of princess outfit too.
Is she in front of me, in front of the church?
No, she's walking out from around the side of the church and just kind of laughing at you, Gork, and kind of giggling at the others and clutched tightly into her like blousey dress that she's wearing. You can see her childlike features, her strange kind of like appearance. This infant succubus clutching onto a book in its hands.
I'm gonna just kind of questioningly look at Abraxas.
This one's new to me. And I'm just going to point out this. She has the book.
Hello. Are you friends of my father? I've been looking for friends of my father.
I'll kind of walk over to her and like kind of crouch down when I get kind of close.
Little girl, what is your name?
As you get close enough to talk to her, you could see in her eyes a gaze of just pure chaos in her eyes.
I see in your eyes the same thing that burns in mine, little girl.
And she giggles. Do you want to play?
Oh.
Do you want to make things different? I want to make things different.
That sounds-
Give me a wisdom save, Gork.
Come on, man.
Is that a
As he
spell?
starts to talk to her,
I was going to say,
and,
27.
27, okay?
um,
She is going to use 4 legendary actions to cause you to fail.
what?
I would like to dispel. I would like to use my staff to counter spell.
It's not a spell.
Not a
You guys watch as Gork stands up and turns to look at the 4 of you, including the Azamir. You can see harsh brimstone flame arcing out of his helmet, and you just hear his voice inside. Yes. Let's start with these. And that's where we're going to finish today.
Oh, come on. I wanted to roll.
You guys are going to fight Gork next time we meet.
I wanted to start prepping a thing like right as he started talking to her.
Oh, we're in Gork's playground now, folks. We're in Gork's playground now.
Wow.
She has the book, and she's reliving her memory as a child.
Yeah,
Oh yes,
It's her. It's the
Glastius.
daughter of Asmodeus. This is going to be fun.
I'll get the fat Gork.
Yeah, high level
He
paladin.
still has his Dragon's Feast thing.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Mhm.
Hey, you'll be rolling to hit your friends, so this is gonna be on you, buddy.
I got this.
Somebody on charm him.
This is gonna be fun. So we may have a new time, everybody. So be patient with us. We are off next week because I'm going out of town for fair. We are looking at the possibility of shifting this fun event to Sundays, and we'll let everybody know once we come up with what that might be. As we are supportive of our players, and one of our players needs our help, and that's what we're here for. So everybody, thank you so much for coming out. Everyone else, go ahead and linger for a bit so we can talk about the schedule. Be safe, be kind. Don't forget to play a game. Good night, everybody.